Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving deep today, folks, into some pretty fascinating spiritual writing. It's these Murli texts. They've got a really unique take on religion and this whole life thing. We're going to unpack ideas about, purity and this concept of remembrance and this figure they call the
Yeah,
father.
they don't mess around. It's like, boom, right from the start. Who are you? Why are you here?
Yeah,
Big stuff.
totally. This father figure, right away, I'm hooked, but he's not like the dad down the street,
Yeah.
More like some spiritual advisor, trying to make us remember something. What's the deal with all this remembering anyway?
Like he's waving this mirror saying, remember when you were totally awesome? Let's go back to that. Text talk about these 84 births we go through. And at the beginning, we were Satapradhan.
Satapradhan. Hit me with that one again.
Imagine being your absolute best self. Pure light, love, just radiating. Boom, Satapradhan. But through life and death, rebirth, all that, we kind of drift.
Get a little rusty, lose our shine.
Exactly. We pick up impurities like spiritual gunk dimming our light. And that's where the Father says, hey, I know that brilliance is in you. Let's dust off the gunk, get you shining again.
Okay, I can get with that. So the remembering part, what are we supposed to be remembering exactly?
Not just facts or whatever. It's remembering WHOUR deep down, tapping back into that Satipradhan energy.
Important. Why? What if we just forget?
Well, the texts say remembering the Father brings good stuff, blessings, and it cuts away the sins, the spiritual gunk we talked about. We get back to that higher state of being, moving away from what they call Tamopradhan, back towards the Sataprada.
Hold up, Tamopradhan is like the opposite then. Not full of light, but kind of stuck in the dark.
You got it, like crystal clear mountain stream versus a gross, stagnant pond. We want that clear flow.
Got it. So remembering the Father cleans up our act spiritually, but then there's this original religion thing, and it's like, no religion I've heard of. What's the deal?
Yeah, it's not your rule book religion.
Yeah.
The text straight up says, just as the Father is bodiless and without an image, so each of you children too is without an image. It's about like the real you, beyond what we look like.
Less about buildings, more about interchange.
Exactly. It's that bodiless state, pure energy beyond the physical. It's like this original religion is seeing that pureness in us, the link to something bigger, to the Father.
We get so caught up in the world, the stuff, we forget this whole other dimension inside.
Like trading, I don't know, pure joy for a bowl of cold soup,
And remembering gets us the good stuff back.
The text is full of these analogies. Like it compares the spiritual journey to a big exam.
Uh-oh, cosmic top quiz. The pressure's on.
Hey, no failing here. But like studying, it takes work. The reward, higher status, a life that means something.
So the more we remember, the better our spiritual GPA. I like it. They also had this bit about roses and, well, to be nice, stinky flowers. What was that?
Okay, picture a rose, perfect bloom, right? That's like someone vibing with their Satipradhan energy. Love, compassion, the works. Now, picture a wilted thing, droopy, kind of smelly.
Yeah, not winning any prizes.
Right. Someone stuck in Tamaprad energy, negative, selfish, all that. The text is saying we can all be those roses, but it takes work, making the right choices.
So remembering is like soul fertilizer. Helps us bloom. I love it.
That's it. We're nurturing that inner garden.
Yeah.
And it's ongoing,
Totally fascinating. But gotta ask, what about those who don't pass the exam? Where do they go? Speaking of, the texts mention this land of death and land of immortality. Intense. What's that all about?
Yeah, you're hitting on this huge thing in these texts, the whole reincarnation thing. The land of death, though, it's not like a literal place. It's more that state of being stuck in the cycle, right? Driven by that Tamapradhan stuff we talked about.
Less a physical location, more a state of mind.
Exactly. Picture being on a treadmill going nowhere fast. The texts tie that to impurity, shorter lifespan, even what they call untimely death.
Untimely death, not just like clocking out early, but not living up to our potential each lifetime. Cut short because we didn't learn what we needed to.
You got it. Now, land of immortality. Different story. Pure Satipradhan vibes. Breaking free from the cycle into like a golden age. Peace, happiness, the works.
Sign me up.
Right. Who wouldn't want that? And the texts say it's possible. Purifying ourselves, remembering the Father, tapping into who we really are. Boom, immortality.
So remembering is the key to paradise, basically.
Or like the engine on a spaceship. Gets us to that higher state.
I dig it. We're not just waiting around, but piloting ourselves to something better.
Exactly. And the texts are clear. This is on us. The Father guides, but we got to take action. Choices that match our Satapradhan potential.
So free will is huge here. We're not puppets. We choose our destiny.
Exactly. Empowering, right? We've got more control over our spiritual selves than we think.
Super empowering, but whoa, the responsibility. If it's on us to grow spiritually, what if we mess up? Forget to remember even.
Great question. And the texts get that. This journey's not easy, right? We get caught up in life, lose sight of the Satapradhan goals.
Well, yeah, we're human. Mistakes, setbacks, forgetting, part of the deal.
Totally. And the texts aren't about being perfect 24/7. It's noticing when we've strayed and making the effort to get back on track.
So constant recalibration, like we check in with ourselves, how's my Satapradhan level doing, and adjust as needed.
Nailed it. Be mindful of our thoughts, words, actions. Ask ourselves, is this the real me? Is this land of immortality stuff, or am I still on that treadmill to nowhere?
Big questions. The texts also hint that our spiritual state, it's linked to our actual lives. Like, more we remember the Father, more Satapradhan we are, the better things get.
Huge point. Remembering brings blessings, sure, but also happiness, peace, even like abundance in our everyday lives.
So it's not just some far-off reward after we die, but more joy and no W.
Right. The texts want us to see that inner world, outer world connection. We clean up our act inside, the outside reflects that.
As within, so without, right?
Exactly. More love, compassion, generosity we live, the more we attract that back to us.
So powerful. Makes you think about people struggling, though. If remembering is the ticket, why are so many still stuck?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The texts have clues, not easy answers. One thing, though, is that everyone's at their own pace on this path.
Some further along than others.
Right. We come in with different baggage, past lives, and all that. Some people, it just clicks. Others might take more lifetimes to really get it.
No one size fits all, then.
Nope. Like climbing a mountain. Same goal, different starting points. Some almost there, others finding their footing.
Love the analogy. Be patient with ourselves and each other. But the text does say it's tough for some to accept these teachings, especially those caught up in possessions, desires.
For sure. They even talk about wealthy people, often harder for them to connect. It's like the more we think we've got it figured out, the less open we are.
So busy chasing shiny stuff, we miss the real treasure.
Right. Can't fill a cup that's already full. We got to empty out some of our old ideas, attachments to make space for growth.
Humility is key, then.
Huge. Admitting we don't know everything, being open to learning no matter where we are on the path.
Makes sense. The texts also talk about purity, not just our actions, but our relationships too. Even calling lust an obstacle.
Another big theme, true purity. It's not just us, but how we interact with everything.
Not enough to just meditate on a mountain. Got to bring those Satapradhan vibes into relationships, work, everything.
Exactly. Live with integrity everywhere. And yeah, they get into lust, seeing it as this distraction from what we're truly meant for.
Not just physical, right? Any unhealthy desire pulling us away from our center.
You got it. What desires keep us craving, never satisfied? Then we choose to focus on something more real, more aligned.
Shifting priorities. From chasing the external to finding that inner peace.
Exactly. Real happiness, lasting satisfaction, it's already inside us. It's about connecting with that Satapradhan self.
Live in the world, but not be of the world. Handle life stuff without getting lost in it.
You got it. Tricky balance. Takes constant work looking inward.
Not becoming hermits, but enjoying things without being controlled by them.
That's it. Finding that middle ground. Enjoy the ride, but don't forget where you're going.
This is clipping, but I gotta admit, this whole rebirth cycle, still wrapping my head around it.
It's a lot. But the texts say, don't be afraid. It's all part of the process, how we grow spiritually.
So death isn't the end, just a new chapter.
Exactly. They compare it to changing clothes. End of the day, ditch the outfit, right? End of a life, new body, same us.
Okay, that helps. But what about between lives? Just floating around until it's time for a new body?
Now it gets really interesting. There's this whole other realm beyond the physical. Pure consciousness, souls recharging, reviewing life's lessons.
Cosmic debriefing.
Exactly. Integrate experiences, learn from mistakes, set goals for next time.
Makes sense. But if we're supposed to learn, why no memory of past lives? Wouldn't that be easier?
You'd think. But the texts say there's a reason for it.
Okay, hit me with it.
Imagine carrying every mistake, regret, trauma into each new life. Heavy, right?
Yeah, not exactly a recipe for growth, just reliving our worst moments on repeat.
Right. A clean slate lets us approach each life fresh, full of potential.
Cosmic reset button. Focus on now, make the most of it, no baggage.
You got it. Each life is a new start to learn, grow, get closer to that Satapradhan ideal.
Beautiful way to look at it. Makes you wonder, though, if we don't remember, how do we even know if we're progressing? What if it's the same mistakes over and over?
That's where self-reflection comes in. The texts say, pay attention to repeating patterns, the lessons that keep coming up.
So those recurring struggles, relationship stuff, those are clues.
Exactly. Signposts on the path to growth. More we pay attention, the more we break free from those cycles.
Groundhog Day, but with a good ending this time.
Right. We're always becoming, evolving towards our best selves. Each life, each choice, we get a bit closer. Liberation, immortality, it's all possible.
Hopeful and inspiring. But what about those who don't get it? The ones still struggling, making the same mistakes, even after tons of lifetimes, just keep coming back forever.
Another toughie. The texts give hints, no hard answers.
Lay those hints on me. What about those who haven't quite cracked the remembrance code?
One thing is, there's no eternal punishment here. Not like a pass-fail test.
No cosmic detention, no soul-crushing penalties for messing up.
Not in these texts.
Yeah.
Reincarnation, it's about love and compassion, even for those struggling.
More like cosmic boot camp. We're here till we learn the lessons, then we graduate.
Something like that. Even the most lost souls can find redemption, enlightenment. It might just take a while.
So there's hope for all of us, even if we're still works in progress.
100%. The texts say, never give up on yourself. Keep striving for Satapradhan, no matter how long it takes.
That is reassuring. It's about progress, not perfection. We stumble, we forget, but we get back up and keep going.
Yes. Every experience, every challenge, every relationship, it's all for growth. The grand tapestry of our soul's journey.
This original religion is deep, not rules and rituals, but changing how we see ourselves, the world. More peace, joy, all that.
You got it. It's remembering our true nature, that we're all connected, and that's where real happiness is.
A beautiful message. Speaks to everyone, no matter what they believe. But how do we live this? Go from reading about it to actually being Satapradhan, making it real in our lives. It's like we've got this amazing map, right, to inner peace, real happiness. But now we got to use it in the real world, not just read about it.
For sure. Not always a walk in the park. The texts do talk about making it practical, though, creating a spiritual practice to help the remembrance stick.
So, like, what does that look like? We talk of meditation retreats, yoga studios, all that.
Could be. The point is, find what helps you quiet the mind. Get in touch with that inner self. Cultivate that Satapradhan energy. Doesn't have to be complex. Even a few minutes, quiet reflection, being in nature, gratitude.
Those little rituals throughout the day, reminding us who we are, what counts.
Right, making space in our crazy lives for that remembrance to grow. And the more we do that, the more those Satapradhan qualities just kind of naturally flow into everything we do.
So less about being, like, perfectly saintly all the time, more about choices that match up with our best selves.
Exactly. Awareness, intention in our relationships, our work, how we treat people, all of it.
Bridging that gap. Spiritual and everyday life, who we are deep down, how we ACT out in the world.
Yes. And this is where it gets really cool. The texts say, when we live those Satapradhan qualities, when it's not just talk, we attract more of the same.
So more love, compassion we give out, the more we get back. Like a boomerang.
Exactly. Ripple effect. Not just us, but everyone we touch.
We're not just like individuals bouncing around then. We're connected. What we do matters more than we know.
Huge. And that's why this original religion idea is so big. Not just Amy getting saved, but making a better world for everyone.
We're all in this together, helping each other grow, lifting each other up. That's got to create something better for everybody.
Nailed it. Like we're all in this cosmic dance, you know? Every step, even if it seems small, adds to the beauty of the whole thing.
Love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive here, what's the one thing you really hope sticks with people?
That we're not powerless. We all have the power to be happier, more peaceful, and spread that around. It starts by remembering who we are, those Satapradhan selves, then living that truth.
Not just cogs in a machine, we're creating our reality together. And that remembrance, that love, compassion, wisdom, that's how we make a difference.
Beautifully said. Maybe that's the core of it, this original religion.
Right.
Real joy doesn't come from stuff or what others think.
Yeah.
It's aligning with that divine spark inside us all.
Not separate from that, but part of it. And when we live like that, boom, full potential. A better world now and for everyone after us.
Powerful stuff to carry with us.
For sure. And there you have it, everybody. Another deep dive in the books. Until next time, keep those questions coming, keep searching, but most of all, remember who you are, those radiant Satrapan selves. Go out there and build that world full of love, joy, all the good stuff.